Immediately. Okay. Let me.
I'm
I
throwing.
looked. I looked before and I thought, okay, I'm all set up. But now I'm thinking, because as you can tell, I am again not home. Ah, what's going on?
Where are you?
I am. I'm babysitting my grandkitty.
You're in Miami again.
I am. I'm going to be here off and on, so the kitty can get used to me because they're going to go. Oh, they're going to go away, and they need a reliable kitty sitter.
There you
That's
go.
me.
There
Or
you
somebody who
go.
just begged them to let them be the kitty sitter.
Can you guys go somewhere so I can watch the kitty?
Right? Look.
Without you around watching me spoil it to death?
Oh, yes, that is the thing. Oh my gosh. I'm not supposed to bring treats? Oh.
I don't know. Sebastian doesn't get treats. He gets his little dab of butter a few times a day and his little fishy treats and
What do you mean he doesn't get a few times a day?
yeah, yeah.
So you understand why I'm in Miami.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Gotta love
And
that little guy. So what's he doing? Is he up sleeping in his hammock again?
she is. She is. She is in her hammock, and I'm actually in my in my in-laws' kitchenette area because I thought, what a beautiful background. I don't know if you can see.
That is
So
very pretty.
maybe it looks even better with. I'll just hang out on the edge over here.
It does cause backlighting on you, but it's
That's what
okay.
I
You're good.
thought.
You're good.
When I'm not in the backlight, okay, how's that?
It's you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, I can move.
I mean, it's right behind you, but you're all right. It's
That's
okay
not
though.
the behind me, that is radiating from me.
Oh, of course. Silly me. Silly me.
Really?
Oh my bad, my bad.
Yep,
That
yep.
glowing personality of yours.
Yeah, especially after driving across 75. I still have the deer in the headlight look coming into Miami. That stress away oil was like, okay, over the forehead, under the nose, on the wrists.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, actually, it wasn't that bad yet. I did see a change in the traffic pattern in Naples now that school is back, everybody's here, but it's still
Yeah.
not season yet.
Season started this weekend or this last few days this week. I started seeing car haulers. In fact, I think it was Monday. I texted the family, fall is here, saw the first car hauler.
Oh
Neighbor,
my
I've got
word,
two
that's too
new neighbors
early.
in the building, seen the walkers in the community out that, are gone for the season,
Do they
back.
not know they're not supposed to come until after Halloween? I mean, don't they get the memo?
I know, I know. I know. I know
They're
I kinda cringed a little bit when I saw the car hauler and then I saw the traffic and, like, this morning ran into the traffic was heavier today, and
right. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Oh, it was such a difference from when we came over the last time. There was nobody on the road hardly at all. And this time, yes, saw quite a bit of difference. And I laugh because that's what we do. People go, well, how can you stand it when the leaves don't change? I go, yes, but the license plates change color.
Right, right. And you know something, people say the leaves don't change, but you know what? You go out in the Everglades and there's lots of color out there, because there's trees that turn red in the fall. So, I mean, you can find it. Most people opt for, around their homes, the palm trees and stuff. So, and the live oaks, which don't turn color. The live oaks just dump a ton of brown leaves everywhere.
I was going to say they do, but
And if you want to rake leaves when you're down here, you plant a live oak out there, and you can just have at it. Because
Sea
those things,
grapes are good for that too. Lots of raking with sea grapes.
yeah, there's
And
lots
they
of
make
plants
nice
that yeah,
trees. They
they
make good
really do.
climbing trees.
And, there's a lot of plants that change with the seasons,
Oh
and
yeah,
some plant yeah, you've got the property that you're on your property, you got Michael's planted tons of plants. So I'm sure your property changes with the seasons, and that's like, for Naples, it changes with the seasons,
it does. I have to say, I have to start. I've not been out as much now that we lost Tarzan. I haven't gotten back into that rhythm. But it will come. It
Yeah,
will.
yeah, you'll find your
Yeah.
rhythm with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I
right
think
now it's
green
like
change color.
it's. Well, I was going to say right now it's like, ooh, it's 97 degrees, not time to go outside. Whereas when you have a dog, you really don't have that choice, right?
Or if it's raining. I remember then Nelson will be like, "I gotta go potty." I'm like, "Sorry, bud, it's raining."
Right.
You gonna
Well,
just hold it for a little bit?
I we had raincoats for our dogs because oh my word, Mona not so much because she had very short hair, but Tarzan had that big like bear skin, and that would take forever to dry. So raincoat, but even his head, they didn't make it. The raincoats, the extra large wasn't even big enough because the hood would slide back. And I found bamboo paper towels. Bamboo. Oh my
Oh,
word, so absorbent, and you can reuse them. You can even wash them. They're
I
like little towels, but
I
not put them in the dryer. They shrink in the dryer. I will. They did say don't, but you know me. I'm
you
like,
tested
John
it.
is just a suggestion. But
I
my
gotta test this out. Do they really mean not to put it in the dryer?
and they did, and they did.
That's funny.
But that was so absorbent, and then he just loved that. You
Did you
know,
get it wet? Sometimes bamboo will stretch back out.
yeah, what I decided to do was use it. I put it in. I like put oils on it, put it in one of those laundry bags, and I throw it in the dryer with my stuff. And then I'm like,
There you go.
lemongrass or
Nice.
eucalyptus.
Yeah, I love bamboo. Bamboo, it's antimicrobial, so it doesn't get stinky. That's what I love
Right,
about bamboo.
right.
And yeah, it is absorbent. It's crazy absorbent.
I
So
have
yeah,
bamboo
it
that
looks
Mikey bought and planted for me. You have to come see it. It's taking off now. It
good.
got hit right after he bought it for me. We got hit with Ian. That was the last one, right? And
Yeah.
it really we didn't get a lot of damage, but the wind damage to like the younger plants was and we
Right.
got a few trees that cracked that had to be cut down. But it's taking off now that rainy
Yeah.
season is here. So
Careful with it, because, it's grass, and so it has shallow roots and it grows
This
fast. So, like,
this
to
is a
put any
special
kind of,
kind because Mikey doesn't like that. He doesn't like the ones with the runners. And he looked and it's called, I don't know if it's called monastery bamboo or something, but it's not as prone to that. We'd have neighbors that have that. And then they're like,
you can't get rid of it. Yeah, it's like the only way I heard that you can contain it is to have like a 1 foot deep cement circle around it to contain it. It has to, because otherwise it's
well,
shallow
even
roots, but man, it's very prolific.
nature finds a way, man. Cement, I don't know. I can see it because look at even in the middle of the city, stuff comes up the cracks in the
Right,
sidewalk.
right. I think it's just to impede it from putting those roots out like that. So
The one of our neighbors has a wonderful neighbor, has a tree trimming service, and he came and helped us out. And he did mention something about one of our trees that the roots may maybe attract it eventually to our septic tank.
the
And
was it the live oak?
it is what the heck is it? It's not. It's oh, I have to ask Mikey. He'll be not proud of me that I can't remember the name. Uh,
But yeah, yeah, oaks are like that with the really shallow roots, and they kind of get attracted to the water supply as well.
yes. I had that with a black olive, and it wasn't I didn't have a septic tank, but the first house I ever owned, it cracked the sewer line between the house and the street, and I
Yeah.
had to get a guy in to repair that. Stinky work.
Thank God there's people that agree to do that. I do not know how anybody does the honey wagons. I just don't. That is a job. No, thank you. No, thank you. Every time I see one of those wagons, I get a flashback to the movie, um, Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, I've never seen that movie.
Oh, what?
Should I watch it just for the septic?
You've gotta see it. Gotta see it.
Okay.
And then
All
when you
right.
see it, you'll know what I mean by the honey wagon
Okay. No,
flashback. 'Cause it
no.
has nothing to do with honey wagons, it just has
Oh,
everything to do with because think it's India, the
oh,
lack of sewage
oh,
the lack of, sewage control, let's say that. Let's put it
yeah.
that way, lack of sewage control.
Mm,
Slumdog Millionaire is amazing, you should see it. It has such I love movies that have a very light, kind of a playful touch on spirituality,
okay.
and this movie does have that. Because what it plays with is, without doing a spoiler alert for you, is, that all things your life experience, it all plays into itself, that everything's connected, that and everything moves you to your highest good, and, yeah, yeah. So, it has some harsh parts to it, where it's kinda like, "Ooh," but, that's life. Life, they're pretty much depicting life, in India especially, and, but yeah, that was a really well done and didn't it win I think it won, I almost said wedding, not wedding. Won
Is
awards.
there a wedding in it?
I think I don't know if there's an actual wedding in it, there's relationships in it. But I think it won awards.
I know it was a very popular movie. I don't know why I didn't see it.
I didn't see it right away, I kinda put it
Yeah.
off, and then it just kinda called to me one day. It just
Okay.
called
I
me, and
will, I will, I
sat and
will,
watched it, and I was like,
right.
"Oh my
I'll put
god."
it on my watch list. I'll put it on my watch list. Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
I
it's
was
really good
thinking
one.
about that today. I don't know if you saw, I found, yes, it is 10 years since I moved. And yes, I still have boxes in my garage. Um, I was looking through one of them and I found these earrings that have Tigger on them, like just from when I just
We
loved it.
used to play.
I still love it. But anyway, I put them up and I was like, and people were responding, and I was like, it reminds me that everything is so instant now. Like as a kid, we saw a Winnie the Pooh movie, like it was on a special, like once a year. Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. It was like around Easter or something, And the same way the Christmas specials were only at Christmas. Or do you
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
and I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause
wow,
remember,
I can just
you
pull up
never went
Bouncy Trouncy anytime I want. Fun, 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 fun.
remember how you were like, "Oh," they'd advertise, that Frosty the Snowman was gonna be on Friday night, and you were like you, like, did everything you had to do so that Friday night after dinner, you could park yourself in front of that TV and you weren't going anywhere, and you were telling like, for me, I was like, Mom, Friday night, we can't go anywhere. Friday night is Frosty. You can't watch TV Friday night. I'm watching Frosty."
Right. Yes, yes.
Because
Wizard,
if you missed
right.
it if you
Yep.
missed it, you missed it. You are
Right.
gonna see it again for another year, and
Not,
all the
yeah,
kids, we're gonna be talking about it at school the next day, and yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and
I
I love
think there were certain ones like that. The Wizard of Oz came on once a year. The Sound of Music came on once a year. Yes,
yeah,
Frosty, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
with the Wind.
Oh yeah, yep. And of course, Winnie the Pooh.
I love the Winnie the Pooh. Oh, and don't forget the, Charlie Brown.
Oh
I
yes,
did the
yes.
Charlie Brown ones too, but Winnie the
Especially,
Pooh,
yep. Go ahead.
I liked Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, me too. Me too. Apparently, he still well loved by generations.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
My daughter, whether she liked it or not, received many Winnie the Pooh themed things.
Ah,
And she loves Winnie the Pooh now, but it was like, and my pops also just happened to love Disney. So it was like, could you really? I mean, we eventually had to just like hang all the stuffed animals that were Disney around. Your door needed decorating? Well, here you go.
yeah,
Uh,
very cute. Yeah,
and we had to get up to change the channel.
yeah, the kids did that, remember? At least in our house, my mom would be like, "Change the channel."
Right. Yes, that was,
Or
yeah.
adjust the antenna.
Oh, yeah. Stand there. Stand there. No, no, a little to the right, a little to, okay. Don't move. Don't move.
Who has been messing around with the antenna again?
And the what is it? UFH one? The
UHF.
little circle, right? Yeah.
Yep, UHF, if you were
UHF. Yes.
if you were in the you were the hot stuff if you had the UHF stations, what, 50, 56, and 20?
Ours were 2, 13, and 27, I think, up in Pennsylvania when I was
Oh,
a kid.
okay. Yep.
And only on the because we lived down in a little valley. So sometimes if something wouldn't come in, we'd hop ourselves up to the neighbors on the hill. They got better reception.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it was what the main stations were the 2, 4, 7, and 9 or something, and that was the one knob, and then you had the UHF knob. So you were not all TVs. I remember not all TVs had the little UHF button to do that with. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a pain in the butt to try and tune those ones in, though. I remember that.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Channel
yeah.
50 had the best ones because for, like, the Detroit area where I grew up, they had, oh, what was his name? I can see his face. There was a number of different people who would, host movies. Bill Kennedy. Bill Kennedy at the movies was the guy in Detroit. He did great. He would just it was like watching, TCM now,
Oh,
where he would
yes.
get on
Yes.
and he would talk up to the
Right.
movie, and then he'd play the movie, and then you had the crazy guys that would dress up like, witches and warlocks or whatever, and they were the ghoul, the there was the ghoul, and he did all the scary ones on Friday and Saturday nights, and
Oh, see, I didn't watch any of the scary ones. In fact, I don't even think they had, I only watched it once. I think it was, gosh, I forget the name of it, but it was, okay, never mind, because I can't think of it. I don't think it was the Twilight Zone. It was something else.
there was Twilight Zone, and then there was with Dracula, the one with Barnaby Jones, Barnabas Collins, and
Yes.
Dark Shadows,
Dark Shadows was one. There was another one that just scared the bejesus out of me. It was, it would have a series of short things that happened, and they all had weird endings. Like, and I still in my mind have these etched in my mind where this lady paid to have somebody else.
Outer Limits.
No, it wasn't that either. She paid to have somebody steal somebody's eyes so that she could see. She was very rich. And she lived like in New York City. And when she took the bandages off, it was at night. And all of a sudden the vision started to fade. And she was she couldn't believe it didn't work. And she ran out to the balcony and threw herself off, and it was a blackout.
Night gallery.
That's it. Night gallery. That's it. Oh, they had another one. Oh my gosh. The person would walk down the stairs and there was a picture of a graveyard, and then the picture would change and show a grave being dug. And then later on, it had the person's name in it. Oh my word. I don't think I slept at all that night. I was like,
Yeah, night gallery
oh,
and
that's a creepy
Outer
one.
Limits and The Twilight Zone. Yeah, watched all those. Those were on 20, I think. And then, yeah, and when I said that the one guy hosted scary movies, back then that was way before. When I say scary movies back in that day, I'm talking the B-rated Attack of the Tomato Plant.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Before the gore. And yes, I rented a movie from the library for Krista once. Like, they used to rent the VHSs, and it was called Something in the Woods is Watching. And it was the music that made it so scary. They showed you nothing really that was
Right.
scary, but it was the music that they played and the way that they brought the
Yeah.
camera in. Yeah. Was
Well,
it
they say that about, Psycho, because in Psycho, you never really see blood
right,
or anything. You don't really see gore. They
right.
they did it so that it was,
This
produced
up
so that
here
your
is better than
memory
anything else to
let
scare the bejesus out of us.
yeah, let their mind have fun with them. And because I remember way back when, they first started talking about I saw something on that, and they were saying how, in the shower scene, there's no blood. There's really nothing there. I think you just see the arm go up, right?
Right. And
If
and
that, or it's
like,
just the shower curtain. It's very minimal. And
yeah,
I was like, "No, no."
right.
I would have bet money that there was a whole lot more in that scene than what there was. So I had to go back and watch it, and I was like, "Dang, there is, like, absolutely nothing in this scene."
Except our imagination.
Right?
Right, right. Truly powerful. Truly powerful. That's funny. Oh, okay. How'd we get from winter and snowbirds?
To Halloween.
Oh, Tigger, and yeah, Tigger and seeing, yes, that's it.
But it makes a nice segue back to, why are the snowbirds back before Halloween?
That is so true. Yes, it does. Let's segue back there because I am so curious because I guess the weather up north is brutal.
Is it?
We're actually having better weather.
No kidding.
Yeah, from what
Really? Wow.
I've seen, some storms really
Well, I know what
hitting.
September could be rough for us.
Ah, I'm
'Cause I think the last time we talked, I said, "Yeah, that it's really weird there hasn't been any waves coming off of Africa, and we haven't had our snow pattern." So I was like, "What is going on?" So I watched the news, like, that day, hoping that maybe they would comment on that, and they did. They commented. What it is it's the Sahara dust. There was
right.
a big Sahara dust bloom, and what that does is levels out everything, and so you don't get any rain with it. But now it's winding down. We've been getting rain pretty steady here for about 4 days now. I don't know how it is on your end, but we've been pretty wet. In fact, a storm just moved through here now, just about a half hour ago. And I'm really kind of concerned about what September is going to look like, because without having any storms at all, the water is hot, 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 really hot. Go ahead,
Okay.
sing
Are
it.
you going to
Sing
sing
it.
with?
No, go
Sing,
ahead.
ha,
Say
ha,
it.
ha, ole. Yes, yes. Uh,
So it'll be interesting. I hope that there's like a few quick storms that zip through and stay out in the Atlantic.
like zip up and go back up into the
Yeah,
middle of the Atlantic and dissipate.
yeah,
Let's
that,
turn the water up a little bit. Bring
that.
that cooler water up to the surface. Okay, just like you manifested them talking about the Sahara dust in the news, let's just put that out there. Let's have some like nice, easy
Yeah, I'm gonna.
whip up the bottom of the ocean floor just gently and send it up into the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, I want to move through this hurricane season unscathed.
Uh,
I think we deserve it.
yeah. Well, and it is true. I was not, I think I said that to you. I think 2 weeks ago, I was up in like the Fort Myers Beach area, and still so much construction because somebody wanted to drive up and see where they used to, the restaurant isn't even there that they used to go to. And still a lot of damage control and rebuilding going on.
Oh yeah, it's going to be that way for a while.
Yeah.
In fact, because from what I've been seeing and hearing, they're taking this opportunity, seeing how they've got like a clean slate to work with, that they're kind of reorganizing, rezoning, reconfiguring the areas and what they want to do with them. So it'll be quite transformational.
Hmm. It's just that they make all the good choices.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's for our highest good.
And the highest good of all. Oh. Let's all clear our throats on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of made me, and it's Funny Friday, so I hesitate to bring up the fires in Hawaii and the scuttlebutt around Oprah. So
Yeah, well, around quite a few of them. And also, yeah, are they going to preserve it for the people?
that's where
And because it has been destroyed, are they going to strip it from its status of non-development over certain
well, yeah,
heights and
that's
all that
kind of
stuff?
what everybody's talking about is she has a history of having property that borders areas that burn out completely and then buying it up when the people have to leave.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
not heard that.
she's got a track record of that.
Hmm.
Manicino, was it Manicino? Yeah, she had property that the whole area around her burned except her property. And so when the locals moved, she bought up all the property. And so the scuttlebutt now is same thing happened on, was it Maui? That she owns a chunk of property and all that fire burned around her property. Her property didn't get touched.
Well,
And
I think she's probably has the incredible amount of money to keep the what do you call it? The water going at all times.
yeah,
Because
uh,
even up on Wilson, when we were driving, the area, the houses that had irrigation systems. Those are the houses
right.
that there's just a little circle around them where they are green. And then you see right outside that where that irrigation ends, it's burnt. If it's that fencing that's not real wood, it's all melted.
Oh
And
yeah, right.
um, yeah,
Yeah,
that is a wild looking thing.
yeah,
But you can see the little clumps. And that's when Mikey, when he saw that, I'm going out to fix the sprinklers.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, right? But
Right.
yeah, so yeah, I'm hoping that the people of Hawaii stand strong and keep their properties and don't buy into the ravaging of their area. Don't let it be ravaged.
Right. Keep the heritage. I know The Rock, I love him. Dwayne Johnson. I just think he's fabulous. I know he's over there trying to help. He just cracks me up because he's from there, but he's also like, we've embraced him in Miami because he was such a Miami boy in his early wrestling days.
Uh,
And then I just love all the good he does with his
yeah.
fame, and he's always so
You know, another one who's really flies under the radar, but is quite the philanthropic is Keanu Reeves.
yes, 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 very private. Like Dwayne is very philanthropic, but he is also this huge personality, and it's almost like they have flipped personalities because he is
Yeah.
such a private and beautiful soul, really.
Yeah, he and it's funny because like, he's not private from where he doesn't go out and mix it up with people because he's always out and about, like, he rides on subway, he takes subway
Right,
as his mode of
right.
transportation, so he's out and about, but he's just quiet about where he puts his money, and he puts a ton of money, I mean, just m millions and millions and just, huge like, I read something just recently about how, you know, like a significant portion of the money he gets from his movies gets poured into lots of philanthropic things, and I'm just
Yes.
like, "Wow."
And he's good looking. I mean,
Oh
geez,
my gosh, both of those gentlemen.
aren't they? Aren't they?
Both those gentlemen are gorgeous, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. On different ends
Here's
of the spectrum in so many ways, but
here's the
yeah.
gorgeous men.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And
Cheers.
you know what? And maybe not so gorgeous, but just wonderful human beings.
That's right. Yay.
Mm.
Ah. How is your erosion project working in the backyard? I was thinking about you with the rain.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Because just before all this rain started, they got out there and they put in the drain. They did. They put the drain in. And yeah, problem solved.
I love it. They finally listened to your wise sage advice.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, well, this is, well, I had to send them another email saying, so what's the scoop? What's the deal here? Planting more plants along the edge of the water is not going to take care of the gushing avalanche of water coming out of that downspout. It's not going to work." And so yeah, so they responded by coming out, putting it in, and but not without telling me that mine wasn't the worst. I'm like, well, if mine's not the worst, then you probably should get your butts in gear and take care of the other ones that are bad too. Because the guy upstairs who's like the RA, he's like, it was $300. I go, that's all. I'm like, it was $300 to fix that, as opposed to the tens of thousands of dollars to dredge it out and the tens of thousands of dollars to do these plantings. I'm like, are you people you're
It-
you're all insane.
right. Well, there is that.
Oh, and then the one guy when he was out there, like, looking at it, and one of the guys from, I wanna say it's from the HOA, but I'm not sure. He, he was out looking to see, how, because he could see the rocks at the end, so he knew that they had done it. And so he's out there. So I walk out, I'm chit-chatting with him, and he turns and he says, "Yeah, now if we could only do something about this." And I'm like, "What?" And it's those, you have the underground utilities, and so there's those boxes that sit up, right?
Right.
And he's like, "These boxes are just covered in the, iron oxide," I looked at him and I go, "Welcome to Southwest Florida." And he's like, "Well, I think it's, um, oh, what did he say? That it not an embarrassment, but something along the line.
Eyesore?
No, no, more it was an embarrassment that these things are orange. And I was I was like, that's just part of what's around. I'm like, show me where
Where
you
was
don't see orange
I
outside.
I was driving somewhere. Actually, I was a passenger, so I could look around. And I think it was maybe it was in Cape Coral, but the boxes they have up there, they've gone around in the community and they have painted them beautiful, like
Right,
with
right.
zebras or just like different
Oh, yeah,
motifs, owls. And then they're sealed. They're sealed in that kind of shellacky type paint. So that is a suggestion.
well, Marco Island did that too, where they painted theirs. I don't know if the sealer that they used will work against this iron oxide. I don't know if it
There
will.
might have to be, what do you call it, blasted off
Well,
first.
that was his complaint, is that, that stuff's hard to remove. And it's like, get over it. I go, it's patina. I go, it's
That's
patina. I
right.
said,
I was trying to think of that word and you got it. Thank you. It's patina.
it's the patina. I said, no, the problem you have is when the sprinklers aren't adjusted and now the side of the building is turning orange. That's a problem.
Yeah,
That should be a dead giveaway that the sprinkler needs to be adjusted. I-
that's true. And yet, if we would see these in a different setting, say in a European country, we'd go, look at that historical beauty.
yeah. I
Patina
told
everywhere.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I go, that's not just here. I go, that's everywhere. Everywhere where there's irrigation.
Light. Oh, look.
Right? The irrigation from off of the ponds,
Well, and plus the if they're pulling that water, a lot of times the sprinkler water is what do they call that?
reclaimed water.
Reclaimed. Yeah, I was going to say reboot it, but that's right. Reclaimed is correct. And so that has also the earth,
It's everything.
the ground chemicals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is everything. Because it's part of the aquifer,
right,
yeah, because it pulls from those lakes.
right.
That's all those lakes are what water the grass for the communities. And yeah, that's just part of the soil. I mean, I don't know how he thinks he's going to get around that.
Yeah, I think we just need to relax a little about that. When he says something to you next time, just burst out with, and that's life.
I mean, that'd be like complaining about the sulfur smell.
When I first moved here, I had no idea. I thought that Michael wasn't feeling well, and then I blamed it on the dogs till I realized it was the water in our own home. And that's when I'm like, okay, reverse osmosis, here we come.
Right, right. Yeah. And, every now and then with the sprinklers, I have a radon fan.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on the front of the building and it's really close to where the sprinklers run at night. So during the summer, when they run the sprinklers, that little booger sucks in. All of a sudden we'll be sitting there and it'll be like, sprinklers must be running.
Yes. Yeah, I can always
We
tell.
suddenly have a powerful sulfur smell in the house.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
That's
Now,
just
where
part of
is
living
that?
here. That's part of living here.
Is that in Gainesville where they actually advertise that you should go to and sit in the sulfur springs?
I don't think it's Gainesville. Isn't it? Well, maybe Gainesville. There's
They have like caves or something.
yeah, but there's also that one lake. That one oh, where is it? It's up by Bradenton.
Not Okeechobee.
No, there's this one that I don't even know if it's still open. It's a lake that everybody goes to because it's so heavy with the minerals. It's just super heavy with minerals. So Europeans come here to go
Oh,
there,
the Fountain of Youth Lake.
sit in it, to sit in all the not chemicals, the minerals, sit in all the minerals. No, if you want chemicals, go to Lake Okeechobee. But yeah, I can't think of the name of it. Is it by Zephyr Hills?
Oh, maybe. We went to when we went to Mount Shasta, we stayed at this retreat area. I guess it had cabins and things you could rent, and they had a house that, like a building that they ran and filled the tubs from because it was a mineral springs resort
Right.
retreat type place. And then you would soak there in that hot mineral water, and then you would run down and you take a plunge in the waterfalls that were coming down off the mountain. That was fun.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Bonita Springs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't it have that? What is that place called? Shangri-La? Yeah.
used
I've
to. I
never
don't
been
know.
there.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to it. There was that's got a history of drama around it. It's been opened, it's been closed, it's been sold, it's been resold, and but it sits on a property of one of the springs. One of the springs
Yeah.
of Bonita Springs, which had healing. The minerals, which are supposed to be good for you, healing type thing. And
Right.
so they had the spas, and they had a pool they used to have a pool that was fed by the spring that I don't think it does anymore.
Yeah, it's just weird to get into the water in Florida in general. Like I have done the springs, and then you look up on the bank and you see the gators there, and it's like, is this inner tube really big enough? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get in. You know what? I do not get in the only water I get into down here is a pool or the Gulf of Mexico. Because at
But
least in the Gulf of Mexico, you can't see the sharks swimming with you.
okay, we went when Krista was younger. She was in a small group of dancers. We all went camping, the moms and the girls together on what is that? There's a island out. Oh gosh, on the Gulf, right here, a little bit up from Sanibel and Captiva. It's a state park, and
Pine
we were
Island?
like, what was it?
Pine Island?
No, I've been to Pine Island. No, it's one you have to take a ferry to.
Oh, okay.
There's no bridge or anything. But we're out there and we're like, yay, we're in the Gulf, and we're like walking around at night. And then we rented some kayaks and we're paddling around the island. And then we go up one of the little places where we could see a house just to see what it looked. And there is a humongous gator on the pier, and I'm like, I look at my friend Dale, and she looks at me, and we're like, oh my god, like we're running around the island in the middle of the night, like looking at they had like a cemetery from like the 1800s, and not thinking anything of it. When we brought the kayaks back, the ranger's like, oh yeah, but don't worry, they don't usually come over to the beach because of the waves, but you might see them. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that. I have heard that alligators. What I've heard are crocodiles. Florida does have crocodiles.
Yes, they do.
Those are the ones you want to watch out for. And they do like salt water. Usually alligators they're more brackish water than they are salt water. But yeah, you can find it kind of like you can find sharks in some of the estuaries,
Yes.
And yeah, and some of the rivers have sharks in them. Yeah, it's a mix. It's just I really don't want to tango with alligators. So
Me either. And I even think to myself, oh my gosh, what were we thinking?
yeah, they do those walks through the Everglades where you're walking.
I've done that.
And I was like, no, because
see, there's this small portion of my brain over here that I have a one friend who can talk me into almost anything. Her name is Dale. And she'll go, do you want to? And I'm like, yeah. And later I'll be like, what? that
What
did
was
I
I
just sign
thinking?
up for? Instead of me, I am the whatever it is. Remember Crocodile Dundee with that?
Yeah, right, right.
He set that stale going, do you wanna? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I've had times in my life when I've agreed to participate in some activities and then said, "What the heck was I thinking of?" You know, what was on my mind? And one such event was driving an RV to the top of Pikes Peak.
Oh my,
Not that,
an RV?
it sounded like a good thing. You start out on pavement. I figured it was paved all the way to the top.
Oh no.
There's a gate, there's guards, there's forest rangers. You would think that if this wasn't a good idea, someone would be like, "Hey, that's not a good idea." Or how about just a sign that says, "Don't do that."
None of those appeared.
No, no, none of them. And so we started driving up, and you get, this one station is, for cooling the brakes.
Oh,
And we were like, "Okay, we get it, it's gonna be a steep incline," I mean, you see those in any other mountain areas, not actual cooling stations, but places where you can pull off and
right.
cool your brakes if you need to. Didn't see it, the rangers are there checking people's tire temperatures. So, it's like,
That was not a hint.
and they saw us, they waved us on, so up we went. Very shortly after that, you run out of pavement,
Oh,
and it's like, "Oh," and then the dirt road starts to get narrower and narrower, and you start getting those switchbacks, and you're like, "Wow, we are just barely making these switchbacks, and if there was somebody coming around one of these, don't know how that would work," and there's no
right.
rails, and the road just drops off, 40, 50 feet. Then you get above the tree line. Then that's when I got really scared. When we got above the tree line, because for some reason, trees on the side of the road are kind of comforting because you feel like even if you went off the side of the road, the tree would catch you.
Yeah, yeah,
I know that's not a smart way to think, but that's what I thought.
right.
Then we got higher and we got into a cloud, which if you've ever been in a mountain that you drive into the clouds, you're like, "Oh, fog. Can't see a thing." On a road just barely big enough for your RV with no rails, and you're above the tree line. And and then all of a sudden a ranger came up behind us. And this is about the time I'm going, "What was I thinking? What was I thinking?" You know? And, a ranger comes up behind us, he pulls us stops us, he can't pull us over, there's nowhere to pull over, so he stops us. He gets out and he says, "You guys need to turn around. The temperature is getting cold enough to where the road is starting to shale, and you'll slide off the mountain."
What?
I was like, "What the what?" I'm in the back of this RV hearing this guy saying this stuff. I'm in the back because 'cause I'm scared out of my mind, right? And so, because I have a fear of heights to start with, and here we are just hanging on the side of a mountain.
You went up there with the fear of heights? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can navigate it. I can navigate it. So, so he said we had to turn around. Shelby's like, "How are we gonna turn around? There's no room on this road to turn this thing around." And he's like, "Well, up on this next turnaround, next switchback, it's a little bit bigger. You should be able to kind of do a 4-point turn." And so we're like, "All right." So Shelby's doing this thing where he's backing up, and as he's backing up, he's getting right up to the edge. The back end of where I'm sitting in the RV is hanging off the end of the mountain. I am crying. I'm just crying. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm the one that put this whole trip together, and I'm the one that said, let's go to top of Pikes Peak. I'm like, our family is going to die, and it's all my fault.
Oh my
So
God.
they get us turned around, and we go on down the hill, and we get down to where that station again. Okay. Shelby's like, I think pull off and go in because they had like a little restaurant. He's like, I think I'm gonna go in and have a cup of coffee or something. He says, I really need to just kind of rethink what just happened.
Right, right. The insides are going, "Ooh."
And so I get out, I'm just all wobbly. And then the guy goes to check our temperature on our RV that we rented. He's checking the temperature on the wheels, and he's like, do you realize your tires are bald? So we didn't even have any grippy on that road to start with. Thank God the guy pulled us off the mountain. So but what we did is we called the place that we rented from, and we said, this isn't gonna work. And they were like, get to Las Vegas, because Las Vegas was on our loop. And they're like, go to Las Vegas, we'll put new tires on. And I was like,
Okay, are they in cahoots with Las Vegas? Let's get them to Vegas.
well, like I said, we were going to go to Vegas anyway. We were going to camp there at
Okay.
Circus Circus, which I hope to tell you, camping at Circus Circus is what it is it's a big blacktop parking lot. That's all it is. It's just a big parking lot, asphalt, every inch of it,
You
in
must have been so,
110 degrees. In
that's what
100,
I'm thinking.
that RV, the floor of the RV was so flippin' hot. And they had a pool there, and the pool was like it was just like a hot tub.
Oh,
You
wow.
couldn't refresh. There was no cold water. You turned on when you hooked up to their water supply. Well, it's heated by the
Wow.
so there was like no. So we were like, well, we'll go down to we'll go do the strip after sunset, when things cool off. So we went like 11 o'clock at night. It was still 110.
Wow. Ooh. I thought you were going to be like telling me it was someplace wonderful, Circus, because it sounds like it would be someplace
Circus.
wonderful.
It is. The casino was lots of fun. The casino was lots of fun. We had a good time there. The camping experience, not so much. And you know what? Las Vegas is flipping hot. When people say Florida's hot, my mind goes, not as hot as flipping Las Vegas. I hope to tell you that's hot. That's hot. That's hot.
I've only ever flown through Vegas. I've actually never stopped and spent any time in Vegas. But even just from the plane to the air, like when you have to switch planes, just that corridor, I couldn't believe it. It was like it hit you in the face so hard. And I was just like,
I know.
wow.
I know. When you walk on the pavement, the backs of your legs feel like they're cooking in an oven.
Wow.
The heat coming off the ground. It is serious hot out there.
So that's
Serious
why
hot.
people live in the casinos
Pretty much. Yeah.
when
My
they go
girlfriend's
there.
daughter lives in Las Vegas, and
Yeah.
Linda's like, I love to visit my daughter. She goes, but I hate that she lives in Vegas.
Mm, yeah.
She goes, that heat. She goes, it's just so hot. I said, yeah, I know. I've been there a few times, and it's hot.
Do they have like how people say we don't have seasons, and we do. Does Vegas have seasons? Do you know?
It's a desert.
Right. Oh, well, I know, but sometimes deserts flower at certain times of year because
Yeah, I
they
guess
get
it gets water if you have that type of plant that flowers when it rains, but they get maybe a half inch a year or something
wow.
crazy, that I mean, it's just it's just desert there. I think it's a high desert too, so it gets cold in the winter. So it has this
Oh, it
huge.
does get cold in the
I
winter.
think I think it does. I think they have a really big fluctuation in their temperatures to where
Friends
it's
that
like,
live there, I'm going to ask them. I've never really thought about it.
yeah, I don't know if they actually get snow, but I think it gets cooler there, cold. Because I
Okay.
think their average temperature is 70. So if you're good at math, I think their average temperature is 70. So if they're high, consistent high is like over 100, then you've got to have a pretty cool other end of it to average it. So it
Yes.
has to get pretty chilly.
Yeah. So 50s.
Yeah, it gets
I'm just
chilly.
averaging it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it gets pretty cold there. Again, I'm not so sure on the snow thing because they do get snow in those high deserts.
They say it snowed in Miami, but before my time, but
In
we've
the Ice
gotten
Age?
hail that looks like snow. I mean, it covered,
Oh,
one
yeah,
time we got hail that covered the entire yard in an ice about this thick.
yeah.
Like you could
Well,
just
you
go
were
out and
saying
shovel
that
ice.
didn't you say that they just got hit with a really bad ice storm, didn't you?
Miami, not recently that I know of.
Mm.
But then again, you're talking to me after driving over here, so part of my mind is blank.
Well, I was thinking, I thought somebody was telling me recently about that there was a lot of hail recently, and I thought it was in Miami, and it caused just a huge amount of damage on people's cars, like broke out
Oh
windshields.
yeah, yeah.
It was really, really bad.
Yeah, when you think about that, those are like little missiles.
Oh, yeah, and then when they're big, they can kill you, when they're baseball size, they can kill you. It's bad news.
I'm gonna start wearing a hard hat when I'm outside now. If I cover it in aluminum foil, then I'll be safe from
There you
everything.
go. There you go. There you go.
Oh my
There
God. Okay, but what
yeah,
if I just got a hard hat made out of really sturdy aluminum? Would that work?
I don't think that's a thing.
I'm just trying to like have, I
You
mean,
could
I
wrap
I
your
don't want
hard hat.
people to look at me weird because I have aluminum on my hard hat versus if I had an aluminum hard hat, that would make it so much better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would think you could wrap your hard hat in aluminum.
I
Maybe
mean, you
turn
saw my
turn your
picture, didn't you? Did you see my picture that I took? I was taking pictures of the moon, and it was
yeah,
afterwards that I saw this weird thing, and none of the other pictures had it. And it was not Starlink because somebody else, it was several hours earlier, but the Starlink, you could see
right.
the, the, so it was a strange thing. And somebody else said to me, that looks like Microsoft. I said, now they're advertising in the sky. I don't know what to tell you. It was like 11:30 at night. We live in the country. So I guess that
I know.
instead of the bat light, remember Batman, the bat light? It was
Well,
like, we need internet.
there's UFOs down here. People see them.
Yeah. Ah, do, 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 do. Ah.
La, 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 la.
So on that note,
Oh my goodness. Well, grandma, you go have
yeah,
fun with the grandbaby.
expect pictures.
Yeah, you must be getting warm because you peeled off your clothes.
I did. I actually wore this on the way over because the sun was it's like a light. Oh, wait, this is from many, many years ago. Oh my gosh. Piranha Joe's
Oh,
in Grand Turks. My mom used to love to go on cruises and she would
oh,
take us every Christmas. And
nice.
yeah, oh my gosh. So it's a good memory, but it's light enough. It's like a light because the sun coming through driving across 75, it's like you I'd come out with one arm red and the other one pale.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shelby and I would get into arguments about that in the car where you know, a lot of cars are built with the zones now so that the person on the two sides of the car can control their temperature, right? And he would always argue with me when I would be sitting in the sun side and turning it down so I was cool, or vice versa, where he's got it turned down because he's hot and I'm turning it up because I'm warm. And he would be just angry. I mean, angry about the fact that I didn't have my temperature set at the same temperature. I'm like, Shelby, they have the zone set up to accommodate for this. That's why they have it this way. You have your little things pointing at you. I have my little things pointing at me. You set your temperature. I set mine. We're good. No, no. And
It's Sleep Number, but for AC.
yeah, well, no, he doesn't. Still to this
And see
day.
what happened? No, just
Yeah, right, right, right. There are some things that, him and I, we do well together, hanging out and visiting and stuff. But, there's other things that we do better apart. Riding in a
there you go.
car, riding in
Right.
a car for a long period of time is one of them.
Well, I mean, okay, you do have some disastrous car trips like you were telling me the RV. So I'm like,
Oh my gosh. That oh my gosh.
all right, I got to run. I see them. They're ready to go to lunch.
Oh, yeah,
And
tell everybody I said hi.
I absolutely will. And yay.
Yeah,
I
you
love
have
you.
fun with
Thanks
that
for another
baby.
great, funny Friday.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend, my dear. I wanna see
Thanks.
pictures of that baby.
I'll be posting them.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.